Hi, welcome back to Air Engine Research. Well, as for most things, there's times when you have to do some modifications. I know a lot more about cylinder size and torque and all that now than I did when I tried to design this thing years ago. And I used a 7/8 cylinder, which is just not big enough. So I'm going to have to take each one of the cylinders off, cut off that 7/8 cylinder part and make it 1.5 inches. That should be more than enough, but rather than take a chance on it, I'm going to go ahead and make it 1.5 inch cylinder. If you've been following for a long time, you've heard me say a lot of times that the way it's designed is easy to replace this stuff. So in order to replace this cylinder, I just have to take 2 of the 1/4 inch bolts out, and I have to take these 1/2 inch nuts off the bottom, and then the cylinder should just come out. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. Yeah, I thought back in those days that the 7/8 would be big enough. I mean, it ran like good, but when it was under a load, it just doesn't have the power that it needs. So it's going to take a little bit more air now that I change it, but 15 or 16 horsepower, it's going to be up to 40 horsepower with the 1.5 inch cylinder in all. There's studs in there that I have to get out. Sometimes they are a little cantankerous. I don't want to mess up my threads, but I do need to get it out. So got to do what I have to do. There we go. There we go, 2 of those out. I'm going to put it back in the same way. So kind of nasty in there, full of oil. I see some of the problem. Some of the seals were leaking. I guess you can see that. I got it was double, but still that top one, you can see right there where it was leaking, and right here, and right there. So when I make them 1.5 inches, I'm going to make the seals a lot heftier too. I learned also that I do use leather seals. And what I've learned to do is take the cylinder, a piece of pipe that's going to be the cylinder, and have a bottom on it so I can have a little bit of water in it. And then I cut the seal a little bit bigger than the cylinder. push it down into the thing and cup it, and then let it dry in that position. And then after it's dried, it has the cup on it so all the way around even. And then what I've done is take some of the RV sealer, it's a rubber sealer, put that on top of the seal so that it holds the shape. And it won't do that cupping like this did anymore once it's inside the cylinder. So I can see where I was losing air a lot of times and pressure. So on the end of each push rod, there's a, I guess you call it a spacer that goes on to the end of the push shaft. And then, as you might have noticed, when I took the cylinder off, I had the piston. It's not attached to the shaft. It's free floating. It only moves whenever you have air pressure on it. Once you stop putting air in it, the piston moves up to the top of the cylinder and stays there. So then the engine will just freewheel back and forth without having any resistance on it. So that's hopefully a little bit of a savings on air doing that. And it'll coast further than it would if it had back pressure from the cylinder. So there's really not much more to say on that today. I just wanted to let everyone know that it's going to be a while before I will be able to put that all back together. I have to get the cylinders cut off. I don't want to remake this block here. That'd be a lot of extra work. So I'm going to mill this off or cut it off and then cut a cylinder that be the right size. I have to remake the slider, and I have to remake the piston to 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches, and then the new seal for the 1.5 inches. So I would imagine it's going to take me at least a couple of weeks, maybe a month. Because I just can't work as much as I used to. I'm still having trouble with my back, but I think I'll be okay doing this where I can sit down some, and maybe I can even sit down when I'm cutting this off if I use the metal lathe. Hopefully that'll work. I've also done some work on my pressure regulator, pressure flow regulator. I was having problem that it just didn't have enough flow. And checking into it, you look at the hole size on that high pressure valves, and my gosh, there are only 4mm holes in it. And that just was not allowing enough air to come through. Calculated on the size that we had with 1 1/8 inches, or figuring it on 1 1/8 inches, it needs 3.5 cubic feet of air to run it at 1500 RPMs. So I redid that with a new set of valves that are 3/8, but in so doing, the pressure on the valves are only rated for 1000 PSI, so I can't go up like 4,000 or 5,000 I just don't trust that. I am looking to see if there is possibly a pressure regulator flow valve that I can get commercially, which then I could go up to 6,000 PSI in the tank. There's only two places that I found. One of them comes from China. I don't really like that idea. And then there's one, it's a family-owned business in England. I sent them a message to find out if they would have a valve like I need with that much flow rate. I haven't heard back yet, but I'm sure they'll answer me within a couple of days. So for now, I guess I'll just stop the video because there's no sense just watching me mess around. I have to change the head on my metal lathe to a 4-jaw chuck so I can put this square thing in it. And then I'll start cutting that one off. I'm only going to do them one at a time so I don't get anything mixed up. So I guess actually my next step is today is Sunday, so I'll puddle around a little bit on this. And Monday I have to go buy the mandrel drawn pipe that I want to use for the cylinder. And also I need to get a piece of round aluminum about 3 foot long to actually make the pistons and the spacer. Not 3 foot long. I think it's about 18 inches, but I do need 3 feet of the mandrel drawn pipe for the cylinders. So enough talking today. Thank you for checking in, and sorry, but it's going to take another bit of time before I try it again. This trial was, excuse me, I won't say a flop, but at least we learned that we need to have a big cylinder on it. So, thanks again. And if anybody does want to follow along and watch how it turns out, please subscribe. Check the little notification bell at the top, and you'll be notified when I do videos, which I do fairly often, just to keep everybody informed. Till next time.